Welcome, Black.
Welcome, Black. You are listening to the Seedz of Revolution, Daughters of the Whirlwind podcast,
where we discuss legacy, history, resistance, and forward movement.
The revolution is live. We are Black.
We here. Another episode. What's going on? I am Dr. Asantewa Sunni-Ali.
And I am Princess Mdaiyah Yisrael.
I am Aiyisha T, Obafemi.
And we are
Daughters of the Whirlwind. So I guess conceded we're very silly.
Yeah, that's what we're
Very.
I never would have guessed that.
So go ahead and introduce yourself. Right on. Introduce yourself right on. Hey.
Absolutely. So I am Aynda Kanyama Jackson.
Okay.
And the founder of Tamu Kanyama Preparatory Academy.
All right now.
I am her daughter. I am Ebony Kanyama Jackson and the founder of Young Black and Brunchin'.
Y'all better come on now. First of all, with the full African names.
hello.
And with the institutions that y'all are
You know what I'm
founding
saying?
and whatnot.
Yes.
How y'all doing today? How y'all doing?
How y'all doing?
Good.
Good.
Relieved. End of the school year.
Oh yes.
Oh
Woo.
yes, I know.
Couple more weeks.
Such a relief
done.
time.
Oh, you
I'm
done.
done.
You done.
Oh yeah, you said a couple more weeks.
I got a couple more weeks.
No, she said the end,
Right.
not the
Yeah.
ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing
that's a
like
good
the
thing.
end of the semester.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing like it.
Grade that last paper. Check
Oh,
it
yeah.
out. You're
I
done.
love to say I've done that. That's not done.
right.
No,
Oh,
classes,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
We
Well, that's a
decided
good thing,
to try something new this year, and we made
Okay.
Malcolm X the end.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You know, you got revolutionary.
Yeah.
They come in, and then they have to go back to school after that.
Oh yeah.
Their year
Yeah.
is
Just make it a fun
already.
week. Yeah.
Right. It's like a party anyway.
Yeah.
It's a party.
It's a party.
We make everything a song.
Yeah.
That was good. I like that.
Yeah.
And I would
And it gives you time to.
Yeah. Hello.
Listen.
Yeah, it was an experiment, but it will be back.
It will
next
be
year.
back.
Right.
Okay.
Right. A good experience.
That's how you
learn.
That's how you learn, man. Make good decisions.
Try and
Try again.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So.
Education.
We are continuing our conversation.
Chick.
We are continuing
two.
our conversation. So this is part 2. Educate to liberate, and
Ashe.
why it's important.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they schools can't teach us.
Shit.
My people need. my people need freedom.
Now,
We're trying to get all we can get. All right, we're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna leave it right there. So for our listeners who are like, okay, who is Aynda Kanyama Jackson and her daughter? We're gonna share a little bit, just a little. I always say a little because there's so much that our guests do, so much to who they are. And a bio is just, a little
this is
snapshot.
only a snippet.
Yes, a little snapshot of who, a person is. So continuing the legacy of her activist family, Aynda Kanyama Jackson is a lifelong community supporter and youth advocate. Growing up in the inner city of Atlanta, ATL, she had the privilege of developing and participating in service and empowerment programs throughout high school and college. Today, she is the co-founder of No Stones Movement Incorporated, where she serves as programs coordinator and on-site director of their academics program. For more than 14 years, she has provided strategic direction for their independent school and nurtured youth as they journeyed through their teen years into adulthood. She is passionate about educational equity and leveling the playing field for Black and brown students so that they can reach their potential and live life to the fullest. That's Aynda.
All right, girl.
Kanyama Jackson.
Miss Jackson, if you're
Yeah.
So Aynda is also our family.
Right. She our sister.
Hey, cousin. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. What's going on? Yeah. So I don't even want to say all jokes aside because the jokes can stay right here.
Yeah, they're gonna keep coming.
It's just a part of it.
Yeah.
But yes, tell us about Tan. Let me try that again. Tamu Kanyama. So earlier you were talking about TSK prep, and we see it, on your shirt
now.
Tamu Kanyama Preparatory Academy. What is it, and why is it?
We are Creative Arts and Media Technology African Center High School. We've actually been around for 16 years now. We started off as My Way. Right?
Yes.
With Ebony and Amir.
Okay, yes.
Plug them in a little bit.
Yes.
But basically, my daughter was tired of homeschooling. She didn't want to do it by herself anymore. It was a difficult road.
Yeah.
And the options for public school were just not going to work for us. We couldn't afford private school, young parents. And I remember having a whole breakdown in the basement. And my husband came and was like, what is wrong? I gotta start a school. He was like, what? Who told you that? Like, what are you talking about? And I said, listen, I don't have any options for Ebony. Like, we have to do something. Yeah. At the time, Georgia had started virtual online school. We thought that was the answer. I had been following the online process and the charter schools from Wisconsin and California. I'm like, Georgia is next year. So 8th grade comes. We joined the class. There's over 300 students at the entry. We were the largest. Georgia opened as the largest online charter school in the country. The directors came here. They were like, oh, my God. And we had everybody from Hillbilly Jack, Muslim families, overseas families. Like, everybody was there. Only to find out at the end of that year, they never told us at the beginning, that 8th grade was an experiment. There would be no high school. Yeah. Oh, so crushed.
Right.
Wow.
We gathered some of the families. We had already been doing community work. So we, decided, hey, it's one more thing we got to throw under this umbrella. And we decided to do a homeschool collective with some of the families that were there and then extend that out to the community. We started with 10 students, 2 8th graders, I think, 7th graders. They were young. And then the rest were high schoolers, 9th graders. And we grew from there pretty much. Nice. Evolved, I think, in 2000. That was 2008. So 2013, which was Ebony's senior year. The students refused to change the name. It was My Way. We asked them what we wanted to call it. They said
diploma set.
They refused to graduate under a new name. We were fighting with colleges about admitting them under a homeschool collective. At that time, it wasn't that popular. Right. So we really wanted them to graduate under a preparatory academy. Yeah. They didn't want that, so that's fine. So the first 2 classes graduate under under My Way Homeschool Collective. And then we took the step to name the school after my mother, who is Tamu Kanyama, lifelong educator, retired from APS. So we wanted to honor her in that way. During Ebony's graduation, we were able to do that. So we graduated Ebony and introduced the new name and honored my mother all at one time in 2013, and we've been going good ever since.
All right.
Yes. Love it. Yes. So out of necessity.
Of course.
Out of necessity. I love that.
Yeah.
As a people, we're always creating things just because we need it and because it doesn't exist. And that definitely speaks to our innovative, way of being. So I commend you. And I commend you too, Ebony.
Right.
But for taking it was so hard. Right. So thank you for sharing that for our listeners. As you see here, that there is a theme, and the last guest that we had for part 1, really talked about kind of like the K through 8 experience. And so TSK is a high school. Absolutely. And I know that I know from, our conversations that there are maybe some middle schoolers, there's some flexibility around.
But it's don't have middle school anymore.
Okay. So it's strictly high school now.
Strictly high school.
Okay. So I know at GHATK, Princess Mdaiyah, they have both the elementary and the high school.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, right. Which is a large.
We
it's a large
our
feat.
schools from kindergarten to 12th grade, But in this venture, I have counseled with my cousin here many times on just different avenues and different ways to go, especially for our high schoolers, because their accreditation, their part of that is just vastly impacted, when it gets them, when they're in that time to go to college. So it's like certain certificates, certifications that we have to have. And Yenda's been walking me through that. But our school, kindergarten through 12th grade, we have about 20 students now. We have virtual and at-home students. And we teach, we teach all the basic languages. All the basic subjects, which is science, math, English, and social studies, which is actually the basis of homeschool requirement here in the state of Georgia. Like, as long as you're teaching those four, you're fine. And the key, one of the key things I like about Georgia is there's not too many requirements for it to have a homeschool. As long as you take attendance and you teach those four, from my research, then your homeschool is great. But when you get into when you go into that, because we are a licensed private school, so we wanted to do those. We had to take those steps to be able to become accredited, which we're in the process of doing. Because that's a big thing that, Ayenda's always like, okay, make sure you're doing this, this, and this. Because when they come looking for these accreditations, and then part of that accreditation is having professors on your team, on your board, who have degrees, the credentials, seriously, because they check for that. So just taking from her lead, we've, been able to establish that at our school. We're going on our 4th year. All praises to the Creator. It's not easy. These first years, it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. It's worth it because you get to see the development in the children. You get to just see the development in not just the children, but the educators, because you have so many people who want to pour into our children. And it's a beautiful thing when people most of our staff volunteer their time. They do. And that's a beautiful thing, because we don't have the money to pay them. Right.
I don't have a volunteer crew, but I would like them.
We are those volunteers. We work together, right? Trade off. So let's work it out. Yeah. But so and like I was stating with Tashia, like the most beautiful part of it is the collab that we're beginning to do with each other. And like when I saw TSK and Quilombo come together, I was like, yes, finally, this is what we're supposed to be doing, because they do, like she said, K through 8th, and then she does high school. We have to have another place for our children to go, or else they're going to go right back into the public school system, which we didn't want them to be in the first place. So that's a beautiful collaboration that you all did, So I'm just here, like, taking notes, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Okay, so let's talk about why you decided to... when you started with middle and high?
So initially, my only goal was like high school. I had to have a high school for my daughter. That was my goal. To give it a little background story, I decided when Ebony was like maybe 6 to keep my children in the culture community. And that was a big decision. You guys know that. Like, I didn't know for sure if I felt like I had what it took. I was like, I don't know that I want to fight this fight. I really don't. And I think everybody has to take into account that point in their life when they decide to make that decision. And so she's my firstborn, so I followed that road. So we got to high school. The school that they were at, Children of the Most High, they were not willing to do accredited high school. They said, look,
that's a whole nother realm.
But what they did was bless me with the opportunity. First of all, I was very conceited. I looked at what independent school was, and I was like,
this how I go up.
And I really didn't want to not work. So that was the other thing. But when I took it on, taking high school, I took on mothers that were willing to do it with me. So I was like, okay, great. One of the mothers had 2 children that were, 2 of the mothers had 1 child that was 6th grade. They were 6th grade. And then a child in 9th grade.
Okay.
So we expanded for them. And through the years, we did homeschoolers. So homeschoolers could come in and sit and be in there and do their homeschool work while we taught. That model has not worked for us very well in that we became the middle school daycare.
Oh, yeah.
And children are doing a lot with technology, and we couldn't monitor everybody because they're not officially in a class. So on their off time, we had to let that go. So it went back to the core of high school.
Yeah, high school.
Yeah,
which
makes
is
sense. Yeah,
more than I had ever seen done. I didn't know the ins and outs of it. When Ebony graduated, she was actually told by Fisk. They gave her a full ride, but they said, I don't know who your counselor is. She didn't push you right. She didn't package this right because you could be getting a full ride everywhere. And they're looking at her volunteerism and the things that we do at TSK, and they were like, you haven't been packaged right. And that really hurt as a mom and as an educator. I'm like, oh no, so it was those little steps and things like that help us to build from my way to a TSK Preparatory Academy, which stands on its own merit. And it's still a trek, but that was our initial steps into high school. So I think we've done okay.
Yeah.
We graduated from Lottie. We got it.
Right. Yeah. All right.
Shout out to Fisk, but I did not go there. Shout out to Fisk, but I went to the Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
I did receive scholarship there as well. I went on a vocal scholarship, so it was well worth it. The administration did a wonderful job, I feel like, admitting me. It took a lot of work. They called my mom and was like, can you please tell Ebony to stop calling us? We got her. Listen, we wasn't playing because I did see all of the ins and outs of just like counselor after counselor being like, oh, sorry, we can't take it. And I'm like, we're accredited.
Right.
The name.
As soon as they saw it, because that first round of admissions is quick. They'd be like, nope. So, but it worked out, and I'm so blessed for the journey that I chose. I love it.
Nice.
Very nice.
I gotta brag. Dual degree cum laude. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, so we made it.
Yeah.
Right. You made it and you're still going.
Exactly.
You're still going.
Yeah.
Yesterday we graduated 4 students.
Okay.
I love that.
Yes, congratulations.
And most of your students, because I follow TSK, most of your students do go on to college, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
If not,
so we have 100% acceptance rate to 4-year universities. That's a requirement of graduates. So we have one student that is not going on to a 4-year. He's going to do the Year Up program to solidify his career. He graduated as a cybersecurity analyst. He's fully certified.
Come on now.
Right.
He also is going to Year Up to get a second certification, so he's ready. The other 3, one of them is going to Temple in Japan.
Okay.
Nice. Wow.
One of them is still between Claflin and Tuskegee. And the last one is solidly at SCAD.
Okay.
SCAD
Nice.
Savannah campus.
Okay. All
We
right.
have 3 Hope Scholars.
What I niece.
Yeah.
3 Hope Scholars. One of them
Nice.
not accepting the Hope.
Yeah.
He's not going.
Okay. Yeah.
So, we generally have a really good turnout when it comes to acceptance. And I was telling one parent, she had some questions about how we move at TSK, so small. And I said, you know what, a year ago, I wouldn't speak with such confidence. But I have 2 college graduates in my house that graduated from Tamu, Kanyama Preparatory Academy.
Come on now.
And I have 4 students that were accepted and are progressing. Right. We also have other graduates all over the country that are doing their thing at this point. It's been 16 years. We've been graduating students in 2012, and they've done an excellent job.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It is amazing. Because I think oftentimes, folks might look at independent schools and feel like, okay, my child might be getting less than, or they just have the what if questions. I think about anything that's new or anything that's outside of the standard that's set for you. And so I'm proud to hear that not only are the students able to excel and meet the standard, but then exceed the standard.
That's the key.
Exceed the standard.
The goal is always to exceed a standard that's set for you.
Right.
Absolutely.
You want to set your own standard.
Yeah.
We had a student leave for whatever reason, struggle academically in the 11th grade. She went to public school and they told her, ma'am, you're done with high school. So they literally graduated her that January and was like, we have nothing else for you. You should tell you to come back. Her classmates was like, no, this was a grind for us. and you didn't want to stick it out. So,
well, hey,
setting that standard has been great for us. And it's not for everybody. It's not everybody's road, but it is a road that once they're committed to, I'm certain that it will lead them to success.
Absolutely. That's a good, I love that. I love that.
So can you talk about some of those standards? Maybe Ebony, from a student perspective.
She's
like
also an employee, so.
Oh, okay. Well,
she's vocal, so.
So both of those. So both of those perspectives in terms of the standards that you feel like you were held to as a student. Because also, I'm excited that Ebony is here. Because we get to hear from, the next generation. Like obviously as daughters of the whirlwind, Seedz of Revolution, we are the next generation of our parents. But then you are, another level, right? And you're here and you are exceeding, right, in life, not just, in terms of academics. And so talk a little bit about some of the standards that you felt like were set for you, and then some of the standards that you now set as an employee.
I think the standards have developed and graduated with every class to come and go. I will say for myself, I think it's a little bit different point of view because I'm her kid. So I feel like some of the things, but they started
so many layers.
But from forever ago, I won't even say at the start of my way or TSK, my mom always told me scholarship or hardship. That's your choices. That's what you got to give.
Right.
And I feel like that has really just permeated through all that she's done with the school. Excellence is not an option.
Right.
It's like we're going to get it together or you're going to walk yourself out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I love the it's like it's this or it's that, okay? Scholarship or hardship.
It's
right. Yes.
Very much. And it's out of love, but sometimes when you're doing things out of love, it's got to be love for the people, but also love for yourself. We don't have all day to drag people who just don't want to go. I will lovingly help you find somewhere that meets your expectations for yourself. And I think that's great because I feel like one thing, and I know I talk about this a lot, but one thing that I appreciated as a youth in the situation is that a lot of times in our community, we really go out of our way to honor those who are straying from the path set. So I would be what you call a good kid, right? So I didn't really get in too much trouble. I did my homework. I went to school, got good grades, and then I got to the end of this road, high school, college, and I was like, hey, I need help, right? Like, what do I do? I'm trying to figure all this stuff out. But my peers who were just not as aggressive about the success in their life, whether it be something that they chose for themselves or a situation that they were in, they have foster programs for kids who come into college. They explain so many things for them. I had so many friends in college who were going on field trips. I'm like, what in the heck is this? Like, and not to put a bad name on those students because sometimes that's just situational. But people who were getting suspended or going to alternative schools. My alternative schools friends had more field trips than some of my regular public school friends, right? I wasn't in that situation because my mom made sure that I wasn't. But looking from the outside in, it's kind of like kids who are destined to be in trouble. They get rewarded. You know what I'm saying? So being in an environment that rewards you for doing good, not only what you're supposed to do, but putting the effort in to give more than that, I think it's a really encouraging environment. And I can see in my students now that some of them, they do not play. They take it seriously. Like they have a leveling system. I will let her get into the details of that, okay? But the students who are about that, who standing on business, they're standing on business and they standing on your neck about it. They're not playing. They're like, listen, I'm on my Quantuo and I'm handling it. What you doing? You know what I'm saying? Especially in situations where they have to lean on each other. They may play all day, but you'll hear around the corner like, listen, we got to do this and we got to do that. So what you gonna do? You know? So
when it's time for work, it's time for work.
The standard is set, and they're doing a really good job of the upkeep.
Nice.
Nice.
Love it.
Let's give a round of applause for Ebony. So proud. So proud.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so these levels. Talk about the leveling system.
Leveling up.
So we like to call it an internal rites of passage. We do not take away from external rites of passage. I think every young person needs to take that walk from their community directly. But we are a community and a family at TSK. We want to make sure that the youth are not just there to get an academic education. I feel like you can do that anywhere. I went to public school. I think I made it through. And the difference between making it through and being able to embed yourself and become a part of that community is night and day. So Akwantuo is a Twi word that means journey. No Stones Movement, which is our parent company, that is our tagline, nurturing the journey. And so the Akwantuo is a student's opportunity to level up personally. So there are challenges, books that they need to read, warrior training that they need to take. What are those that they do at the rock?
Their mantras.
They learn mantras, different things that they do. We actually go out and do survival training. But that's an option. For the first year at TSK, you're a Watoto. Every Watoto must level up to Kijana, which is kind of like a teenager. That first level is just the basics. How do I up my GPA? What's expected of me at TSK? What's respectable at TSK? What am I supposed to wear? These simple questions. They take a test called Ready to be a Warrior. We are the Mau Warriors. So once they take that, everything else on Akwantuo is optional. They can become a Feda Sumaki, and lastly, a Soja. A Soja is someone who has the opportunity to get a scholarship from TSK. We've had 2 of them graduate. One was my daughter, Militia. But it was one of those challenges, like Ebony talked about, where students push students. They did this during COVID. We implemented this current Akwantuo maybe, I want to say 7 years ago. So nobody had done it. The class before them could have, but they didn't. So one of my students who, we all family, she actually lived in our house for 2 years. We're a partial boarding school, so that's important. We do 2 weeks at the beginning of the year, 1 week at the end of the year where we're totally housed together as a school, and then a couple weekends. Jasmine decided, I'm looking at this Akwantuo and I plan on getting this scholarship. She and Melissa are very close. Melissa said, this is my mama. She asking too much. I'm tired and it's COVID. I'm not pushing. She said, Melissa, that's fine.
Right.
I'm getting this scholarship. You come with me or not.
Right.
Melissa's not one to challenge. Therefore, she and Jasmine received $100 a month for their freshman year. They were able to get, I think it's 200 hours, 200 volunteer hours, again, during COVID. They legitimized their hours. They got 200 hours of volunteer. They created a community event that would benefit the community. They read certain books. They did all of this within that last year, 2021, which was 2020, 2021, which was really hard for them. But they were able to accomplish that. So there are only 2 who actually finished all the way. But we had a couple Fedas. We pinned one yesterday. Another one, she was mad. I was like announcing her award, thinking she would be happy. She got $100 and she got pinned. And I said, this student only missed 1 challenge. What challenge did I miss? I want the paperwork. I need receipts. I thought she would be happy, right? They're very serious about that. Because once you decide to go on that journey, it's real and it's your personal journey. So
that's good. That's good. That's powerful. I like that. I like how you all set those standards for them and then they exceeded them within themselves. And it wasn't even you saying you have to do this. They decided within themselves, we want to do this. And then I just like the camaraderie of the challenging of one another. That's a beautiful thing. It reminds me of Mina and Zeke. Like they've been in our school together for the last couple of years. And it's just been them in the high school for a minute. Now we have about 4 boys who are in the high school, but they challenge each other. I hear them because Mina's virtual and Zeke's there. But they'll have their phones on during class. We're like, okay, did you finish that assignment? They go back and forth. Like, wait, did you hear that? And okay, you answer this, or I'll do this. And I love that because it teaches them about working together, one, and it just teaches them to stay on their toes. You know what I mean? And so I just love that. I can't even. What did you call it? Akwantuo. Okay, so I love it. She like that. It wasn't it. But y'all got the concept. Right. But I love it.
The Ghanaians out there come on, y'all,
get it together. No, but I just love the whole concept of TSK Preparatory Academy in itself and everything that it has developed. I mean, just looking at Ebony, from knowing her from in the womb, and now she's a grown woman. Like, dang, look what all that did. But, and she went, like you said, she went to homeschool all her life. You know what I mean? That's important too for people to.
We had a couple years of public school.
Oh, I mean, you know, in there, but they don't really know. You know what I'm saying? Most of our children do a little dab in there. You know what I'm saying? They like, okay, let you taste it. Then they be running back, talking about, okay, I'm done with that. But you know, majority of her education came from that ground foundation of homeschooling, and that just shows you who she is now. How all of that helped develop her. You know, and like we know, we all experienced Children of the Most High and Gate City. You know what I'm saying? We had all of our children, most of us in here most of our children have experienced.
But y'all children are my children. So
all of them.
I mean, she did do it. It wasn't Gate City, but it was still Aiyisha. Well, she said in African Center Homeschool Collective right now.
Jackson. Oh yeah, she
did. Yes.
Oh, so you were with them in the. Oh wow.
Yeah.
The trenches. The trenches.
And that's what you said though. That pushing each other. That extends to us as far as community schools. I am excited to work with Each One Teach One and Quilombo because that little collective is pushing us to do things differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the African Community Centers has tried for years to bring independent schools together, and there's just like this hit or miss. I think for the last couple of years we've been like, we can get this right. We're getting this and it's working. So it's been a beautiful thing, and it has also challenged me in a lot of ways, and I appreciate that. It's hard to be an army of one. You're just like trying to figure it out, and so
and it helps with your accountability of what you have to do. You know what I'm saying? Like on some real, it's like. No, it's seriously like when I say Aynda was calling me, I was like, she calling me. I ain't got it yet. I ain't do it. Let me not answer this phone. I call her in a couple of days. I was like, okay, let me get on it. But it's so important to have that. And that's something that I'm glad is finally happening. Because my sister Aiyisha could say, when we was at Gate City, I was like president of the PTA, always trying to do something like, what about this school? How about we going to work together? And it was always a struggle.
Yeah.
It was a struggle for what? Yeah. But and then it doesn't feel good. Because you're like, we're all doing the same thing. Let's work together to make it even more impactful for our children. You know,
the whole idea that we see in our community. It's not enough. That lack mentality, and unfortunately, it leaks into the conscious community.
It does.
You know,
it does.
Like we
Big
want to
time.
pretend that we're,
but we not
about certain things.
Right.
But what I'm seeing is that honestly. You say next gen, when you talk about legacy building, that's a legacy that we can leave behind.
Yes,
we don't have
absolutely.
to embrace that. There's a new generation of folks owning and running schools. And we're able to see past some things, and add on rather than take away from. So I appreciate that.
And the beauty, like you were saying, every school that you're associating with is different. The foundation is different. So it's not like we're competing against one another. Our goal is to help each other. So if I have 5 students and you got 20, and these 5 students are feeling like, hey, socially, we're not getting it.
That's it.
The 20 students that you have, help them to socially, feel comfortable and get that out. Because that's the biggest battle, honestly, in our school systems and our institutions, is the socialization. Once we capitalize that, it's like, we good. But that comes with us networking and forming these committees together. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Yeah, as the African proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far,
go together.
Build that village.
I'm loving that. The researcher in me is just, oh my God, I'm so turned on. There's so many, y'all are so immature. Y'all are so immature.
And the way you said, I'm turned on, okay.
Keep going. Keep going.
Thank you, Aiyisha, for being mature. No, there's just so many questions. Like even with the, the boarding school aspect of it, and what that brings into, the learning process. Yes. So maybe just a word on that. Like why that element?
So I'm gonna bet Aiyisha probably remembers the onslaught of white boarding schools in our community, right? Because her children would be around that age. And maybe you do, but you were already so steeped But they were recruiting Ebony very hard to go to white boarding schools, the KIP movement. And we went and sat in for a KIP interview. And the minister of culture for KIP, they coming from y'all, but anyway, she said, oh, they have enough of the culture here. We make sure they're steeped in it. It's our goal. They didn't have a KIP high school yet. She said it's our goal to get them to some collegiate spots that are going to get them ready for college and out of these neighborhoods they've grown up in. Just all of her key terms were killing me.
Right.
I was like, what?
Wow.
Right? On the other side of that, my peers had students coming back from boarding school that were killing the game academically. Because they were able to be isolated. Yeah. They were able to focus on their studies. You know, I thought it was beautiful, and it lacked their mothers and fathers showing them how to be adults. Okay. So for us, we try and get that isolation time so that they get that in and still bring their mothers and fathers into that process. We want to see the Africans that we are repeated. Yes. We really don't want to, you know, eliminate that aspect of walking your children into adulthood. Yeah. So we do interviews. We take in families, not children. And when we do that, we're very clear to the parents that I know you thought you had gotten there. Right. But actually, you're at the beginning of the journey. This is when they need you to hold their hand. Yeah. Everybody looks out for kindergartners through 5th grade. They got their back, right? 6th graders, they're exploring and you know it, so you have to watch them. But 9th grade, first of all, their records are their records. This high school record is going to follow them forever. And then emotionally, they're looking to see what kind of adult they're going to be. They need somebody to show them that this is not the slack off time. Right. This is to get in their time. Yes. So boarding allows us to do that in a really intimate way with our students where mamas and babas are able to, you know, talk to them. We're talking about, we do, you know, a deep sex education class in our senior year. Most of our students are graduating virgins, but we do have a couple that are sexually active sometimes. So we take them down.
The conversation took a turn. I say research turning me on. What's happening?
You did this. But yeah, we try and do the whole gamut, and you can't do that from 8 to 4.
No, that's really important because a lot of folks, you know, they get touchy about that subject.
But it's important.
But no subject really should be off limits, especially something as important as that. Because students are engaging.
High school.
Students are engaging
with this generation.
So they need to know how to do that safely. Right, and they need to be educated about all of this.
And I've never had a class to go, I didn't need that information. Right. When they leave Brady and they leave that session, we have a mechanical baby and they do that for 48 hours, you know, all that. They always like, whew. Right. You know, and they take a survey about their life and how they see it before. And then after the class and the Grady teens and the baby experience, there's always some really deep discussion. So I like that you can see, you know, this type of growth up close and personal. For me, I always wanted to be a mom. Like, that's what I wanted to be. I'm sure, you know, teachers, what do you want to be when you grow up? And if I said a mother, it was always like, well, what do you really want to do? Right. What do you want to do with your life? Because kids grow up. Like, no, I want to be a mother. My mama told me that was the most important job in the world. And that really stuck with me because she's that mom, you know.
Yeah,
she
sure is.
And so it made me think that was the most important job.
Exactly.
Shout out to my mom.
We love your mama.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so I love that, the boarding school. And I know that there's so many folks listening. Like, I'm listening and I'm like, I want Free to go to TSK. She's going. Wherever I am in the world, we're gonna come back. Or you might be global at that time. Yes, we got a couple of years. But as with, you know, so many of our conversations, you know, they can go on and on and on. We would love to talk to you, you know, a lot more. And there's so much that we didn't get to talk about and do together. You know,
so you'll have to come back at another time.
And all those good things.
We are a creative arts program. I do have to say that.
Yes,
I do not sing, but we are creative arts.
Wait a minute, for the listeners, this is not true.
I was gonna say not true.
I grew up listening to Aynda Kanyama Jackson.
Especially at Kwanzaa.
That's what I get. Aynda, come on now, singing and rapping.
Right. Oh yeah.
Rapping.
Oh yeah.
So I would say Aiyisha and Aynda, you know, I would say y'all do a little battle rap right now. I'll make the beat.
She's too fly right now.
No, we're not doing that.
How many bars?
We're not doing
It's my princess and I'm.
Wrong cadence.
Correct me then. Well, correct me then. Show me the cadence.
My name is Black Princess, and I want you to see that I take racial segregation very seriously. It is a truly monumental problem in the world about effects of apartheid on boys and girls. The perpetrators persevere to segregate while these South Africans continue to demonstrate against a battery of repressive laws which they can see will separate many African families. At birth, each child is classified as being white, Asian, colored, or black outside. And if you're black, chances are that you will not exist, for death may come by the white supremacists. Apartheid kills, it has been truly said. It is the reason black children are and will be dead.
If the mic could drop.
Black Princess in that. He's Zeus.
Okay. Hip Hop 101 for fall.
Y'all see how I did that, right?
So yeah, in my younger years, I was Black Princess, the rapper, or the artist, I should say.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, man.
She was performing on big stages. You know what I'm saying? Big stages.
She's like,
Well, what about you? You gonna
All the stuff we heard during Kwanzaa.
Right.
No.
She's like, just keep it in your
that's all right. We'll let you off this time. We'll let you off this time.
I'm upset, shouty.
But you will have to. You might not rap. You might not be prepared to rap, but you have to be prepared for the Power 5.
Yes.
Which is the way we end the segment. So we're going to ask you a word, a phrase, or a question, and you need to respond with the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay?
Absolutely. Right.
The first one, a book that everyone should read.
Destruction of Black Civilization.
Okay.
By who?
Chancellor Williams.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Ebony?
Everyone should read.
First thing that come to your mind.
Sure, shout them out. Name of the game, Just in Real Life by Bobby Jackson.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Shout out to Bobby.
For all you chess players out there.
Say that again.
Lewis Street.
Yes.
Say that again.
Say it again.
So we got Name of the Game, Chess in Real Life by Bobby Jackson. And for a surprise edit, 1148 Lewis Street by Tamu, Kanyama.
Oh, yeah. Say that.
Say that.
Plug it. Okay.
All right. So next word is education.
Non-traditional.
There are too many HBCUs for you not to choose one.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Who is your favorite revolutionary?
That's an unfair question.
Y'all each get an answer. You each get an answer.
So for me, Mary McLeod Bethune.
Okay.
I can't even pretend to give nobody other than
Just
my granny. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay.
Shout out to Mama Tamu.
Be like, Ebony had my
You know, only by a landslide to my grandpa. You know what I'm saying? My papa. That's my dog.
Yeah, so her granny and grandpa,
right.
her papa, as she said, is Tamu Kanyama and brother Hakima Kanyama. For all those who.
Okay, so Aynda, what is your prayer for the next generation?
I pray that they're able to find peace within themselves.
Okay. Nice.
Ebony? You look like you wanted to say.
I think that my prayer for the next generation would be to never forget that collaboration is always the key.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So the final word is whirlwind.
See, I knew y'all. Whenever I hear that term, I can't think of anything but your mom. Our last conversation about that word was that I didn't know the prison that Marcus Garvey was in was here in Atlanta. So that was the last lesson that I can remember just off the top of my head of her teaching me. And I don't know how we got there, but it was all around that term. So it was very interesting to me. Because I grew up here.
Right.
And whatever we was talking about, the term brought us back, of course, to Marcus Garvey. She's like, that's right down, you know. I'm like, what? You know, so I connect that very much with being a part of this family. And, of course, her singing it. Sorry.
That
I
part.
don't think I can top that.
Well,
Go
ahead and sing it. Always trying to put some vocal coach.
And on that note,
Right.
and on that note,
Right.
You got a word, girl.
Right.
Yeah, let me find a word. Whirlwind. I think about the pandemic. I was spinning. I was all up in that. We are not in Kansas anymore.
Right. Exactly.
And we never went. Everybody kept saying when we go back, we never went back.
We're not going back.
We're
But
not going.
honestly, I feel like that last 4 years, like where we are now, it's finally feeling post-pandemic. But I can say amongst myself and my peers, it feels like that last 4 years was like stagnant. Boom, 2024, we on. Like, you know, so it's been, it was sitting for a while, but I feel like now it's like coming back and it's better.
Right.
Not politically, but emotionally, socially.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Make that distinction.
yes.
Yes.
Well,
Thank
we
you
definitely
both.
thank y'all.
Thank you
Yes.
so
Yes,
much.
thank you for gracing us with your presence.
It was an honor just to hear the stories, get the experiences through you all's perspective.
The multi-generational.
You know?
Yes.
So important.
Very important.
Yes. No, yeah. Ayinda was like, oh, y'all want to talk about TSK? Here's my evidence. I'm going to bring my receipt. So I'm going to bring my biggest receipt.
You know what I'm saying?
So what's interesting is that when we, part one, we were speaking with Tashia, and she, 3 generations of teachers and 3 generations of teachers. Your mother, you, your daughter.
Right.
So it's amazing.
There's a pattern here.
Yeah.
Message.
Right.
So thank you so much to our listeners. You have been listening to
The Seedz of Revolution, Daughters of the Whirlwind podcast. Be blessed.
So please let us know how folks can follow TSK and keep up with the movement.
Yes, so you can actually follow TSK Prep on their student-led page on TikTok at TSK PREP. They're also on Facebook, and Instagram is currently loading. But yes, they are doing good things on there, so check them out for sure.
All right. And then there's a website too, right?
Yes, tskprep.org.
Look for me in the whirlwind.
Hey, revolutionaries. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Seedz of Revolution, Daughters of the Whirlwind podcast. To join the family, like, subscribe, and share with who you think should be a part of the fam. Comment if y'all want us to cover specific topics or if you have questions. Peace.